the fact is, and this is Sheikh Noor mentions this. Sheikh Noor Keller, I've heard him say this, that religious people are attracted to religious people.
That's true.
So it's actually a bigger
That's true.
fitna
It's
for a religious Muslim when religious Muslim women or women who cover, women that are in a religious environment are making themselves attractive. And vice versa. It's bigger fitna for religious women when a guy with a beard is also wearing
Because
like a skin-tight shirt.
he's a compatible type of person.
Exactly.
Right. So
he's
because if
more
you're having
inclined to
man,
be
you're not looking at like
One
somebody that works in a strip club, like you're disgusted by that. It's actually not attracted to you if you're a person of belief. So what you're looking for is another person of belief, and so you find the attractiveness in
That's
that.
a great
That's
point.
a great point.
And that's,
SubhanAllah.
believe it or not, my friend said to me in London, we were all students living in the FOSIS house, right? The Federation of Islamic Students or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
nice.
So basically, he went off, got a job, right? He graduated, he got off, got a job. His job was to be the video guy for Islamic Relief, right? So he goes in every day. He goes in and he takes the footage that they capture and he makes videos out of it. And he travels with them to the next event that they have. And you know, Islamic Relief does these huge events with like the latest famous singers and what have you. And he records the footage. So he's on site for the event. Then he goes back to the offices in London and cuts the videos up and makes whatever they want for them, right? He said, man, I'm telling you, to work in an office with 6 young Muslim women was far harder than going to school, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of
With
course.
non-Muslim women who are semi-undressed. Because, like he said, they're all compatible. It's possible that he could really, like his parents would accept from to marry any of this. So he's like, to actually focus not on that, was actually harder because he knows that when you go to secular university, you know that you're never going to actually be compatible with any of these people, right?
Yeah, so it's not a.
So
Your guard is up.
Your guard is up.
But your guard
And
is
if,
down.
and if you're a
and
person
it's
of a
not.
sound heart, you're also not being attracted only to physicality, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So you find personalities, you find, and the most attractive thing that a person can have is belief in Allah,
Yeah.
right? And so, if anybody out here is listening and going, nah, I definitely like half naked non-Muslim women more, you have a long road to walk.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
And even if that's your nefs speaking, when your intellect gets involved and you actually, how are you going to live, right?
Yeah.
That's out of the
And how are
question.
you going to live with yourself?
How you live with yourself? That's out of the question, right?
Right.
I hope you.
But I don't want to diverge too long. I just
Now,
wanna
to,
answer the
yeah,
to
question.
answer the
definitely.
question, okay? To answer the question, the answer is as follows, okay? When the Quran gives us 2 guidelines, didn't we say this last? 2 guidelines on, I remember saying this recently, on the issue of modesty. The first guideline is, all right, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, all right, غضوا من أبصاركم, lower your gaze. قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم. Right. قل للمؤمنات يغضضن من أبصارهن ويحفظن فروجهن. Surah An-Nur. You want spirituality? You want to advance spiritually? The first gate that needs to be closed are the eyes. All right. It's not to say that you cannot make tawbah from it and advance. You can make tawbah and advance in your commitment to Allah Azza wa Jal, but the actual spiritual effects, the nur that comes into the heart, is stolen through our eyes when we look. Now, Sheikh Sha'rawi said, if Allah told you don't look, then how are you going to mingle? Then how are you going to touch? Right? If he told you don't look at the opposite gender, then how are you going to mingle? So the Sharia says, if you have an objective business, right, with someone, right, then you engage in that business and that's it. Otherwise, there should be no looking, right, at the opposite gender and no mingling. The other one is more equally as important, the khalwa. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a hadith. He says, لا يخلون رجل بامرأة ولو كان يعلمها القرآن ولو كانت مريم بنت عمران الصديقة. A man shall never, all right, be alone in a space with a woman, okay, even if he's teaching her the Quran, even if she's Maryam, the daughter of Imran, the Siddiqa, right? Now, there's one exception to not khalwa. There's no exception to khalwa. There's one exception to mingling, which is when you have guests, when you have friends, if you have neighbors, if you have extended family. The Quran tells us, لا جناح عليكم أن تأكلوا جميعا أو تأكلوا أشتاتا. That means there's a dinner, for example, right? You invite your coworker to dinner. You invite your neighbor to dinner. You invite your non-Muslim family to dinner, right? it is permissible to eat dinner together, right? To be sitting eating dinner together.
Just to be clear, it's not like you as a single Muslim man inviting 3 female coworkers over for dinner, or your 3 female neighbors.
Right? Yeah. So this is family, for example.
Okay.
Right, family. You invite your family to dinner. You invite your aunt and her family and her daughters and her sons, right? And your family and your daughters and your sons. Okay. Quran is not saying do it. It's saying la junaha alaykum. It's like not wrong
if it
whether you eat together or you eat separately, right? You know, like your grandmother comes and brings the family together. Your grandfather brings the family together, right? They want to all sit at the same table. This is permissible, right? According to the Quran. But still lowering the gaze is going to count. You're not going to sit there gazing, right? So these are the guiding points to Maryam's question on gender segregation. Why do we believe in it? It's such an important feature of prophetic culture. That, yes, Prophet, peace be upon him, did interact, right? But separation in general, right? Separation in general was the culture. And some people say, well, they associate separation with backwardness because the cultures that separate today tend to have the qualities of backwardness, poverty, ignorance, illiteracy, etc., etc., etc. And the cultures that have the attributes of civilization, literacy, clean streets, bureaucracies, technology, they're all mixed. But I asked you, it's just accidental. It just so happens that these are the attributes of the civilized, quote unquote, worldly sense.
Sure, but the cultures that mix also tend to have the attributes of the uncivilized when it comes to gender
That's
norms.
very true.
So
that's
there's
very true.
Fornication, there's pornography, there's every type of facet. There's rampant single pregnancy. Like there's in this country, there's situations where you have the majority of kids born in certain communities outside of marriage, and nobody even bats an eye. So they may have clean streets, but they have dirty lives.